Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Nightly Recap. I'm your host, Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I regret to inform you that tonight is my last night streaming on this platform because we have some discriminatory practices that will be carried out tonight during Dave's test show. It sounded like he was about to call Landy a nigger.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I'm thinking about calling the NAACP and filing charges. He didn't say it. He didn't get to the end, but it sounded like the hard R was coming out and he was about to call Landy a nigger. So with that being said, let me bring my nigga Landy on. Landy, are you feeling okay? Are you okay? Do you want to speak to HR? It sounded like he was about to call you a nigga.
I am doing just fine, my fellow friend.
Okay. All right. Do you want to talk to HR about this?
I think I'll be okay. I was just coming off of my pickleball tournament, and prior during the earlier session of today, I had been out at the driving range with my fellow friends, and we were doing such a wonderful job driving the ball 210 yards apiece, because that's about how far we can hit it as little puppets. So I'm ready for a Friday night on the town. I got my Q-zip on. I'm ready to go. Sunglasses up. It's great. How are you, sir?
It sounds like a lot of white privilege during your day today.
Maybe. I was thinking about handing out some of these Q-zips to my fellow friends.
Please don't. Please don't. Q-zips are banned. We are not doing any Q-zips. We are only supporting. I'm part of the anti-quarter zip social club.
I see.
Yeah. Are you aware of that?
I can change into some better attire here. I didn't know this was a formal affair. So
this is a formal affair, sir. All right, I have to figure out how to do share screen. How do you do a fucking share screen on this shit? This janky ass program. What do you?
I can always share mine. Or
there it is. I found it. There it is. Bing, boom. Can you guys see that? There it is. There it is.
Oh, hell yeah!
Anti-quarter zip social club. Look at that hoodie. Look at that hoodie.
Look
at that hoodie. Anti-quarter zip social club hoodie. This is 100% cotton, 16-ounce pre-shrunk, no drawstring, kangaroo pocket, ultra durable, heavyweight. This supports up to temperatures as low as 50 degrees. Built to be worn again and again. You talking about durable? You talking about a hoodie that will last. Anti-quarter zip social club. We don't wear any quarter zips. No quarter zips over here. Only hoodies. It's hoodie season. Hoodies up, quarters down.
All right. I see that. I see it can handle when it gets a tippet nipply out. So I can't wait.
A tip what? A tad bit what?
I'm sorry, a tippet nipply.
Nipply.
Yes, it does get a little nipply. I'm sorry, nippy out there on the East Coast. So
nipply. Okay. Keep your clothes on, Landy. Keep your clothes on.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will try.
Well, we had an amazing week this week. We're going to spend a little bit of time with you tonight. I've been doing a lot of drugs today, so you guys got to forgive me. Legal drugs, some of them at least. So we're going to keep it high and tight tonight. But the Fed is expected to cut interest rates next week about 1/4 percentage points. We're going to get Landy to weigh in on that. We're going to get Landy to draw some lines on some stuff. We're going to do some TNA on the Bitcoin and the markets, the greater markets as well. I know you guys want to see all of that. So we're going to get into that. But also, Landy, did you see that the core PCE came in today?
Yes.
Can you give us a breakdown on what the outlook of that looked like? Good, bad, ugly?
Um, it was it was neutral. So not much has changed. In fact, I think that this might just be a neutral number because I don't know if these numbers are going to be yeah, so the release is still delayed. So those PCE numbers that you saw come out are not relevant. They're from September.
Right, they're old, yeah, because the, government shutdown.
Yeah, so December 19th is actually when we're gonna get new PCE numbers. Um, this is
Okay.
this is not as important as what I think, about, initial jobless claims
Mhm.
did come out, and,
Right, that was earlier this week.
yeah, which I put a post out about, kinda summarizing my thoughts on it, that if let's see, where the hell did I even put it? It even has the Fed chart baked in. If you want, I can share that. Let's see. So this this is pretty important. Um, Essentially, right now we have um, IC or initial jobless claims dropped to its lowest level since September 2022.
Yep.
But this was over a holiday, so we do need to watch out for a rebound read. And this is in contrast to the prior read on unemployment rate, which was up to 4.4%. I actually expect that to go higher. That's gonna be the 16th, when we'll see those numbers for unemployment rate.
Okay.
And what this is causing is a divergence. So we have initial jobless claims dropping off, and we have unemployment rate rising. And essentially what I was saying here is that employment is completely stagnated. Corporations essentially frozen hiring. They've largely stopped cutting with year-to-date layoffs already up to 54%, year over year. So, you remember all the different layoffs that you were reading about?
Uh-huh.
Like, we've already kinda gone through that stage. There's been no real new announced layoffs. And essentially what it is for IC is that is people entering the job market or looking for reemployment. And when that's dropping, you will see unemployment continue to rise, right? Because what this allows the corporations to do when they were shutting jobs is they get lean and mean essentially. So this allows them to keep their profits high. This we've seen come in with earnings, as you know, earnings have been massive, right?
Yeah.
And that's because they already got lean earlier this year. And and coming into the end of the year, they're avoiding all the severance costs by just holding on to their existing staff and not hiring anybody new. This is essentially a hiring freeze. And what this means is they're sitting tight until either relief arrives from the Fed or some sort of another large package from the government or something, or we're going to see mass layoffs.
Okay.
And what I'm noting here is that this is all pointing towards recession. But we know the Fed's employment mandate is going to put pressure on the Fed to cut rates
What is an
faster.
employment mandate?
So the Fed has a dual mandate between keeping employment high or stable and keeping inflation low. Right? Typically, the number is the 2% target. We haven't seen 2%. Even pre-COVID, we didn't see below 3%. We were at 3%.
Uh-huh.
So we're at that same place pre-COVID for inflation, and we're seeing unemployment start to pick up. So this actually gives the Fed room to cut. And in fact, not just, I know that they signaled they didn't want to cut anything after December and they wanted to just hold rates, but with unemployment likely going to jump, um, what we're seeing is, and liquidity being very tight, I think we're going to see that they're going to have to cut January, February timeframes as well.
Okay.
One of the key things that I note here, though, is that oil is going to be the big driver. We know natural gas is up, right?
Yeah.
Natural gas is spiking because of the cold snap and all the AI demand. and we've been exporting more natural gas than ever before at this point. So what we're looking to is OPEC ramped up production for petroleum, and the U.S. is hitting all-time highs with barrels per day for petroleum. But we know OPEC is going to be OPEC Plus is going to be pausing, right? Because those wells are unprofitable, so they pause production. So we have a race against time right now, and that means that the Fed either has to shit or get off the pot because a recession is coming if they don't tackle this head on right now. And that's kind of what I've noted here. And my thoughts on that as it relates to the rate cuts, 25 basis points it does nothing. They're going to need to cut deeper and faster coming into, because by the time numbers catch up for Q1 of next year, the trailing numbers catch up for the economy, they're going to be too late. That's my take on it. It's going to be interesting.
Okay. All right. So you're pretty much sure that we're going to get a 0.25%
Almost certainly
cut next week, right?
Yeah, because they're meeting on the 10th. We're not getting any data until after they meet. So they're meeting on the 10th. They can only go off of this kind of stuff right here. And this is really what they're going to be looking at, because inflation has been cooling, right? It doesn't really, and the reason that it's been cooling is because of oil, right? Is because oil has been dragging it down. Energy costs are up, but oil drags everything down.
Okay.
And they're going to be cutting based off of the existing data.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I think they're going to indicate like, oh, we're going to try to hold for next meeting. That's probably going to be the talk, right? But in reality, if they want to get out ahead of this right here, they need to cut deep and fast.
So how do we expect the markets to react next week? Is it priced in? Are we expecting a boom when the rate cuts? What are you expecting? Early week boom?
I don't know what to expect. I'll share over to traditional markets here real quick. So, I talked about this in my video that got uploaded a little while ago for the Friday stuff.
What's that you looking at right there?
This is Dow.
Okay.
So Dow has a weekly area of interest, right? We got an all-time high close on Dow, right?
Okay.
Coming in at just shy of 48,000 at 47,955.
Mm-hmm.
We did wick or swing to for just over 48 to 48,133.
Mm-hmm.
We came down here to a basis band or a 20 simple moving average, which just so happened to be a key level from this little consolidation over here.
Okay.
And then popped right back up to the highs.
You're looking at the weekly chart?
Yeah, this is the weekly.
Okay.
The danger here is that this swings the highs and then comes back down and puts in a double top. That's what I'm watching for, and I'm trying to be aware of if that's going to happen. So here's how I've been doing it. Right, I was a buyer. Right, calls down here. I'm selling premium up here, baby, just in case, because I'm already long. Right, from this big area down here, from right around the 45.780s, 45.8s.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then on the way up here this week, ahead of the FOMC, I've been selling premium. For those that don't know what that is, it's taking puts on the other side of my longs, right? Or the other side of my calls. So I'm bracketing. The reason why is I want that premium up front as this rises, just in case if it does something like this. Let me see if I can't get the right one. In case we see something like this, a swing up and then right back down. And then, a little bit of a downtrend here. It kind of got goofed up with the lines here, but I think you get the idea, right? If we don't see closes above 48,431, the prior swing high, and the current all-time high, we could see higher prices, right? But we don't want to see, we want to see closes rather And if you look here, the upper second standard deviation of a Bollinger Band set is right there at the all-time high. So we need to see closes for a nice melt up. If we see a swing above, it's danger, baby. You don't want to see a double top put in here, because we would likely see a drive of divergence, bearish divergence right here. Right? Another drive of bearish divergence on the weekly if it swung it and didn't close above it, right? That'd be another bear drive. So that's what I'm paying attention to. This is one of those, like, I'm not trying to read what the market, I'm not trying to project for the market. I'm trying to plan for the market right now.
Right.
There's no telling, because that data that comes in after the FOMC is what's important, because it's all going to be jobs data, man. Like, that's the most important thing. Jobs are the driver in this market. And this is a weekly time frame. The daily, nice rally up, but look at where it stopped, right? It stopped right at the candle structure here, right? Just shy of the candle structure that put in the high on the bearish candle, right at that 48, right over 48,000, right, for Dow. So it does look like it wants to try to get continuation, right? It does look, it's got room. Everything's telling me it's got room, but look at all the, if it fails, look at all the other side. It's got to break convincingly and get into the bullish control zone for RSI. It's got to break on the weekly, and next week's going to be the week that I would like to see that happen. Doesn't mean that it has to, but that's, we got a full week, and then people are already starting to take vacation, right? Like, people are getting out ahead of the holiday, right? They're already ready. They're planning for the end of the year. Most everybody's done in the corporate sector. Most everybody's done and just kind of playing the market right now, just through the end. This is like where I would be half asleep at my desk kind of thing at this time of year, because I'm just kind of, all right, it's okay. These guys need fills over here. Let's go make that market. And I was, okay, this one I can arb pretty good. Like, I was just floating through. I didn't care, right? And that's most of Wall Street in Chicago. But the only thing that they're paying attention to is less going to be the cuts and more going to be the job data that comes out after the cuts. We got a release on 16th, 19th, so on and so forth. I mean, it's going to be nice to see a little bit more liquidity come into the market, but 25 basis points does nothing. We are still in really tight conditions right now. Now, and I can show you across NASDAQ. Here's NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ on the weekly came right up to a big old daily level, key level on the daily. Look at this. Right? So we had the rally to a new all-time high, right? So here's the daily level. We came up, we swung that candle, and then closed with an inverted doji here. And that's ugly. But even if it comes back down for some liquidity and then heads back up, what do we need to see? The all-time high for the weekly, right? Daily this looks like crap. This looks like if this puts in the top, this is going to swing over. We've got a high over here. The close was 25,692. The open was 25,500. Yeah. So this would be a closing higher high as it relates to this high over here. That'd be another drive of bearish divergence, only if it puts in a high on the daily, but it's more about the weeklies here, right? Same deal as Dow, except we're seeing a little bit of relative weakness versus Dow in terms of structure. Came down to the basis, which is that 20 simple, popped right back up. What does it need to do? It needs to get above the upper second and the all-time high to actually go into March. Same deal. We don't want to see is for the bulls is a double top on the weekly, right? Where it fails to close above the all-time high. It can and swings above, but closes below this all-time high at 26,182. That'd be bad. That'd be a double top on the weekly. That would be another drive of bearish divergence with a double top and failure to close above the highs. And that would start to look like absolute trash on the weekly, right? Not saying that that's the destination, just what we need to be aware of, right? And this is going to be otherwise we close above the all-time high and the upper second. That's expansion to the upside, nice melt up on the weekly, Same for SPY, really easy. I like to use SPY. Everybody likes SPX. I like to use SPY for charting. SPY looks a little bit better, but beware, same kind of deal. Beware of the dreaded double top. Swing above, close below. That's the only thing that I'm watching for. So needs to close above 689 or 6,000 and 6,890. And in this case, SPY could be the one that you want to watch actually, because if it doesn't close above 693 to 695, it can still swing out and absolutely reject. That would be terrible.
Now, today we saw Bitcoin diverge from the markets.
Yeah, Bitcoin's facing some headwinds here. But Bitcoin is on the other side, right? Everything in traditional, and Bitcoin might be telling us the story, right? I don't care what anybody says about risk on, risk off. Oh, Bitcoin's seen as the market as a store of value, a hedge against inflation. It's definitely risk off. That's the category that they're all putting. No, they're not. If they were, it'd be running with gold. Right? That's fact. Like it is seen as risk on still. It's highly volatile, and even though it's compressing in terms of volatility on the longer term time frames, your monthly, your year, your quarterly, your yearlies, it's still highly volatile in the lower term time frames within monthly and quarterly candles, both to the upside and of course on the bearish side to the downside. But the daily is very volatile. So realistically, what we're looking at is this is a weekly time frame. This was a trend break to the downside. So we had this nice uptrend, right? And then the trend break to the downside, we need to see a low set. This is still a move in progress to the downside until proven otherwise. And the way that it proves otherwise is by setting to get interesting would be to set a daily low or a weekly low. And that would be on closes above 94,182, which is a big level.
Otherwise what?
Otherwise, it's continuation to test the lows and possibly lower, right? Because this is expansion down. And the danger here for Bitcoin is pulling one of these. You now have a trend break, and then even if it pushes up, you get a lower low to a lower high, right? Very simple. And this is just an example. Don't take this as where I think things are going to go in the immediate short term. But this would be your trend break low. Once this is set, whether it's here or lower, then you look for that lower high. That'd be your trend reversal. That's what the bulls don't want to see for Bitcoin right now. Because in order to break back to the top side, to make this a deviation on the weekly, we have to see this do one of these from here, right? That would be your positive scenario. Would be to come all the way back up, beat 126K off of a lower low. That's not
happening.
Yeah, that's not likely. Now, is it if it puts in a lower high, is that game over for a trend reversal setup? No, that's just a setup. The confirmation be closing back below wherever this low comes in, whether it's here or lower at the 80,525 or whatever it is. But realistically, if the bulls want to, the bullish setup would be something like this, where it puts in a lower high, comes down here, higher low, and then W, the classic W reversal formation.
And look at that doji too.
Yeah. Look, this is...
We got an inside and an outside.
Yes.
With the outside being a doji. Ugh.
Yeah, it's ugly. But if we were to go to a daily, this is where it gets really clear. Because the daily's easy. What I'm going to turn on here is weekly levels. All right, these are all weekly levels. So this is the easiest setup on the daily to pay attention to, right? This is a weekly higher low close at 93.5, right? And then on the bottom side, a weekly lower high close at 86. Right in the middle is the swing higher low and the swing lower high from those structures at 89. We are stuck inside of this weekly zone. Break to the top side, get above 94. You see that upper second. We can then expand into the next big area, 96 to 98. And then that's the bottom side of this weekly that was lost over here between 98 and 101. Bulls need to see closes above 101 to have even a chance right now.
Yeah.
And they need to see it on a weekly, not just a daily retest in here and then rejection. And then we could get it and then come back down and find support in here, but they don't want to see any higher time frame rejections off of this. They need to see a reclaim. To the downside, easiest thing inside the range here below 89, look to right around 86, 86 and a half. If it drops that, we're right back to 84. If we see any closes below this swing low at 84 or 83.8 in this case, that would put it below the lower second. We're getting expansion right back down, baby. We're going right back for this low, 80 to a weekly at 78. And Markel points out, yeah, we're right at the yearlies. The yearly looks like trash, bro. Markel knows what's up. He knows what's up. Yeah, we're right at the yearly as well. So not only is it a weekly, big daily levels, big weekly inflection point with a swing higher low and a swing lower high on Bitcoin at 89. The big zones between the closing higher low and lower high. It's also the yearly. It's the yearly open. So this is where it can, yeah, Markel's right. It's going to rip in whatever direction, right? So realistically, if Bitcoin paints a bearish picture, it could be painting the picture that traditional markets open next week and come back down to the downside.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just got to watch it carefully, right? Is it going to be a lower term time frame move or a higher term time frame move? I don't know. And over the weekend for Bitcoin, I don't trust it. Low liquidity environment. A lot of players in the game want to throw their weight around, I think, right now, or they might just leave it alone and try to fake out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Low liquidity, I don't like on the weekends. So like I have trades on, but I have my shorts were built all the way. By the way, no short squeezes below 112. I'm sorry. I see a lot of this on social media, especially X. I see a lot of, we're going to squeeze the shorts. We're going to squeeze the shorts. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Most of the short interest is like around, here's the last biggest level of short interest. It's at, you ain't even squeezing above 101. You have to squeeze. You won't even see what you would see above 101 on that weekly is shorts covering, meaning that they've been taking, like what I did. I took my shorts up here at 123 because I was looking for a convincing breakout above 124 and a half, 125. We didn't get it. We stalled out right on it, swung above it, and then we started rejecting 123. So I built out a big old short position there. And then when it came down, it bounced to what? 116, 118 resistance. I kept building my shorts in there. I was taking profits through here. And then I built out more of my shorts over here on the 107. You ain't even getting any kind of a squeeze unless you see above 107 and a half, 108. You'll see shorts covering into this area and then re-shorting most likely. I'm giving you a little bit of what I would do, how I'd play this. And I wouldn't be like full on like going giga short here, but in lower term timeframes, I would be taking shorts in here because I covered here, right? Which helps in the market to push things up. But above 112, that starts making shorts sweat because if you start heading towards 116 to 118, these two rejections on the daily after the all-time high, that's where shorts start to sweat. You'll see a lot more covering in there. Any closes that's above there, that's when things get interesting. And that only really starts above 112, which is a weekly level. That's this weekly swing high and closing high from over here. So that's when that would begin. Shorts start to cover more aggressively coming into 116, 118, and they're pretty much squeezed out above there. So I wouldn't even be looking for a short squeeze. You can get local short squeezes. Like above like 93 and a half, 94, you probably get a little short squeeze up to 96, 98 that weekly. That's what I'd be looking for. But anybody talking about, oh, we're going to squeeze the shorts. I'm gigabull. No, you're not. You have no idea what you're talking about. You've never traded a damn thing in your life. Sorry, I hate seeing that shit, man, online because these are people that pitch themselves as traders, and I don't think they've ever touched a trading desk or a button.
No, they don't know shit. They don't know shit. All right, that's enough. I'm about to pass out.
Me too.
Yeah, great job. Shout out to Landy. Shout out to Landy. There's your coverage for the nightly recap. Monday, and then going into Wednesday, Thursday. We're gonna be an exciting week next week. I'm waiting to see what those opening candles look like. So yeah, let's see what
I,
happens.
so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you positioned for next week already, or are you just gonna wait for Monday?
I'm sort of positioned. I have a put on a Dia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
So
in the money, so
yeah, well, I was watching you this week. You guys, you've been doing good shit, man.
thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking to get out of that position before the FOMC if it looks good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same. I will let go of my. I will take the premium and buy back if I see things really start to rip.
Right.
Otherwise, only to reposition. This
Right.
market is going to be shaky for the next couple of months, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
because we're looking for a much larger correction, I think, even
I
if
mean,
it is bullish.
it was shaky this week as a whole. The only thing that changed today was the Netflix buying Warner Brothers. That kind of shook things up a little bit. But other than that, everything was like up and down.
You ready for the Netflix remakes of everything in Warner Brothers?
Gay Superman, gay Spider-Man. Yeah, it's about to be crazy.
Wait, I thought the last Superman was already gay. What happened?
It's about to be crazy, man. Well, the good news is they got HBO Max, so maybe the HBO Max app will get better because it's kind of janky. Netflix
Yeah,
is the only app that really works really well.
I agree.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Hotep, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
Thank you
And
for joining me.
yeah, and I always enjoy watching your streams every single day of the week. For anybody that doesn't know, you need to pay attention to Hotep because he streams every single day of the week on X. And go over there. If you're going to watch, go over to Kick. Make sure you're getting on Kick because that's where you can get in the chats. You can watch it on Kick and X same time. Just mute one of them. All right.
Yes, sir. And we got that alpha. We giving out that alpha.
Yes.
So look out for it. All right, Landy, enjoy. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next week at the trade desk.
All right. Thanks, Hotep.
Ladies and gentlemen, another excellent episode with Landy over here on the Nightly Recap on GNN. I'll see y'all next week.